Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to share some of our latest features in our fixed ops space that we recently shared at NADA. So for those of you who didn't get to make it to NADA or anyone who just wants a refresher, we'll be giving you a quick yet informative overview of our enhancements. So we have three topics to cover today, and each one of these are going to highlight some of the really exciting new innovations we've been working on. And then after our presentation, we're going to open it up for Q&A. So feel free to type in questions and we'll answer those questions as we get to the end. So my name's Kim Saylor. I'm going to kick things off and give a quick rundown of what we'll be covering. So first, we're going to talk about reimagining the workflows. And this is really where we're redesigning our workflows to make things more efficient, more effective for you as you work throughout the solutions. Second, we're going to talk about raising the bar on our service scheduling. We've updated things on online scheduling, in-store scheduling, but today we're really going to focus on our AVA solution, which is our AI virtual assistant, and how those enhancements will help you and your dealership. And then finally, we're going to talk about how we're enhancing our customer communication and really taking your communication and elevating it to the next level. And today we're going to focus on that consumer portal. So by the end of the session, we really hope that you'll have a better idea and understanding of how these innovations are going to benefit you and your dealership. And we're going to go ahead and dive right in, and I'm going to kick it off to Don Zogg, who's now going to give you an update on the reimagined workflows. Don?
Thank you, Kim. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Our product team has done a lot of great work leading up to NADA this year, and we're really excited to share some of these new features and enhancements with you. So the new workflows and features will help drive efficiency and really elevate your consumer experience. Here are some areas that will drive these efforts. Starting off with streamlining the user experience, really simplifying those interfaces that help your staff really, accomplish tasks, their daily tasks without delays. And then moving over into intuitive design, really improving the interface that reduces the adoption time. So for new employees, being able to pick this stuff up, run with it fairly quickly, and really reduce that onboarding time. And then, of course, continuing improvement. We're always enhancing and creating new features and expanding on the existing capabilities and really streamlining these workflows for you, our users. Improving our the decision making. So really, what's our new analytical reporting? It's really going to help you provide, actionable insights, so you're able to make informed decisions when you need to. And then, of course, scaling the solution. We really, adapting workflows to really grow and ensure that we're meeting not only the needs of our customers, but also of our partnerships like the OEMs. And then really eliminating redundancy. Nobody wants to do the same thing twice. So really removing those unnecessary steps, keeping users focused and, within that single workflow. So now, these newly designed workflows and features really touch all the personas within the fixed ops department. For example, the online scheduler. You heard Kim bring up the online scheduler, but really, enhancing the consumer view as well, making it easier for them to schedule appointments and reduce defection rate. And then, of course, the mobile ASR approval. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the consumer portal, but a portal for the consumer not only see the mobile ASRs, but also, pictures, estimates, multi-point inspections, something that a lot of dealers have asked for over the past year or so. And then looking at the BDC environment, really creating an enhanced dashboard to where not only can the BDC department switch between stores, but also be able to even take out and look at weekly views when they're scheduling appointments. Now, for the parts side, we've created some new screens and really pulling over the inventory management into this new platform, but also being able to do special order requests all from within that same screens as well. Now, moving over to the technician, technicians being able to stay inside the workflow to do punch times, do their 3 Cs. So a lot of new effort within that space as well. Now, when you come over to the advisor side, the communication platform is key. So having that one texting number throughout the whole experience, and not only that, but the advisor being able to communicate directly from within the application versus getting having to go to a different tab to communicate with customer. And then our analytical reporting is going to give you 3 new reports. The service performance dashboard, which we'll go over in a little bit more detail, but also the inspection performance dashboard and the ASR dashboard, which will also help, do targeted and forecast for, upcoming months. So now we're going to take a look at the new technician screen. So here, the user, instead of going back to Drive to run their times, they're going to be able to go into the screen, click their punch time, and now be able to not only run their time, but also if they need to, for example, pause it or put it on hold to look at a different job. So this really keeps them inside the application during the whole workflow. Not only are they able to run time, but they also have an area for notes. So if they need to put tech notes, if they also want to do an audit on their existing punch times, they can. Running their 3 Cs, not only have we incorporated the story library into this, but also leveraging AI to help generate stories based on historical information at your store, which really just speeds up the process for the technician to get their work done, then move on to the next one. So once that's completed, they just hit that complete, and then it puts them into their next line. Now we're going to talk about booking. So again, instead of having to memorize those 60+ function codes to book out a repair order, the users can simply go into the line, open it up, check the 3 Cs, adjust labor time, sell amount, depending if they're properly permissioned, of course, and be able to slide that marked as booked, and now the line is booked, and then they can move on to the next one. So once they complete that booking, that's just completed the process, and the user's going to their next one. Now we're going to move over into our new analytical reporting. So as we start this off, 3 different reports that you're going to get. You're going to get the service performance, which gives all the reporting information as of what's happening right now. So you can look at all that financial information on the screen and be able to, of course, make informed decisions based on what you have. Now, once we move over to the inspection performance report, now I want to do a target, or maybe I want to do a forecast. So last year at this time, I ran an average of 70% inspections. What happens if I increase that percent to, say, 90% or increase 10% over? What does that look like from a financial perspective? So here you're going to be able to look at it and say, okay, if I'm able to run more ASRs, more inspections, what does that look like for me? So all these new analytical reportings will be coming out for you to use, and they're really great. And at this point, now I'm going to turn this over to Jeanie, and Jeanie's going to review some other new features with you. Jeanie, take it away.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Don. So last year we launched Ava for Fixed Operations. This is our AI virtual assistant that answers all incoming service calls 24/7. It automates the scheduling process, and it's integrated into the appointment scheduler and can communicate in over 50 languages. Ava takes this task off of the advisor's plate so that they can focus on higher value responsibilities, such as assisting customers in the dealership or upselling service. So this year, we've introduced new enhancements to Ava that enable dealers to drive more service revenue and retain customers. So we've expanded scheduling options to include web chat and texting, giving customers even more ways to make an appointment that is convenient for them and aligns with their communication preferences. Ava is embedded into the CDK service navigation with customer interaction details, giving advisors access to appointment information and enable them to take quick actions for follow-up if needed. Advisors are also able to get alerts on their desktop for customers who attempted to schedule an appointment, but it wasn't finalized for whatever reason. The alerts include customer information, so the dealer can quickly follow up with them and offer assistance to help complete that appointment. And lastly, there's enhancements to the reporting dashboard that provides detailed metrics and insights as to how customers are engaging with Ava. So this is an example of the web scheduling. So the website chat rather. So the schedule service button can be placed anywhere on the dealer's website, and it opens up a pop-up conversation box where customers can then simply click that button, follow the prompts, and schedule an appointment. It follows that same phone appointment process. It's quick, it's easy, and it's available 24/7. And this is an example of the SMS scheduling. So customers can schedule an appointment via text by scanning a QR code. So if a dealer is advertising online or through a mailer, or if a customer purchased a vehicle and they want to offer them a bounce back offer, they can easily scan that QR code and it will start a chat that is connected to the dealer's appointment scheduler. And as you can see here, this is an example of how it might appear on a mobile device. It's quick. It follows that same appointment experience on the phone and web chat. So there's that consistency across all three channels. So with desktop notifications, dealers can get immediate information to identify customers who hung up or abandoned the call, and then reach out to them to offer assistance with completing that appointment. So if you think about how much you're spending on advertising every month to get customers to call into your dealership for service, do you know how many of them complete that appointment? How many of them actually come in for service? How are they abandoning their call? Are you able to get in touch with them? These are in-market customers, and dealers are now able to retain their business before they go elsewhere by understanding who's actually completing their call, who's not, and can follow up immediately to schedule that appointment. So Ava is also embedded into the CDK service navigation, as you can see here on the left side of the screen, providing details for every interaction through phone, chat, or text. This gives advisors quick access to view the appointment and the customer information. There are various filters to drill down to specific details, such as the disposition of each interaction, whether they transferred or hung up or completed the appointment. There's also a drop-down for each line item, providing even further details, including a summary of the call recording, and a transcript, as well as a free-form box to put comments or notes that are relevant to the interaction. For an example, if the advisor or BDC agent enters notes that they were able to reach out to the customer and assist with completing that appointment, they can then check off that line item as closed and keep those notes for reference. And there's also a very robust analytics dashboard to help stay on top of Ava's performance with insights that allow you to monitor customer interactions, such as the disposition of each call, the services scheduled, and more. There's the ability to filter data in a number of ways to customize your view and drill down to specific metrics. Summary of how customers are engaging with Ava, if they made the appointment or transferred to a representative. There's a summary of services that are requested, which, by the way, this is not an inclusive list of all services. However, oil changes and regular maintenance tend to be the most common, which don't necessarily need a human to manage or to schedule those appointments. There's also an interaction tracking, which is the same that I just covered, that in the previous slide, that's embedded into CDK service. So if there's someone in the BDC or there's a manager that may not necessarily need to have access to the service application, but they want to monitor calls and they want to have that same access to that same information, they have this interaction tracking that's also combined with the dashboard to have a greater view of Ava and the performance and how customers are interacting. And with that, I am now going to turn it over to Kim, who is going to talk about how we're enhancing customer communications.
Okay, thanks, Jeannie. So yeah, now I'm going to talk a little bit about how customer communications is really getting elevated and what we're doing to do that. So as a part of our ongoing innovations to really enhance that customer communication, we've introduced lots of new features like automatic notifications throughout the service experience, AI-empowered features like noise cancellation, language translation, smart text replies, all really to elevate that customer experience. And so what I'm going to focus on now, though, is our new consumer portal, which significantly improves like how your customer can communicate and engage with your service department while they have their car in for service. And this portal really brings together all the communication features that I just talked about and creates a more effective and a more personalized interaction with your service department. So one of the things that we've done with our notifications is we've given you control. So what I mean by that is you control how automatic they are. You can have it set up so that everything's automatic. So for example, I write a repair order, it sends a welcome text, which has the link to the portal. As the RO goes through the process, as it gets inspected, as it gets repaired, as there's a mobile approval, you can have all of those things automatically text the customer with a link to the consumer portal. You may not want that amount of automation, so you can also have it where just the welcome text is automatic and the rest is manual. Your advisor decides when the customer is going to get that notification, or you could have it completely manual. So that's all up to you. But what's also customizable are the actual statuses. So for example, we have up to 6 customized statuses, but you might say, you know what, I only want 4 for my dealership. I want welcome to Excellence Motors, your car's being inspected, your car's being repaired, and your car's ready. That might be all. So you control that. You control how many you send to the customer. You control what those statuses actually say, what that description is, and you control how automatic it is. So if you look at on the screen, the phone on the far left, that is basically on my system, my store, the welcome text. So I got the welcome text, it had a link, and it takes me to the consumer portal. And you can see I've customized mine to say checked in here, and it will build this consumer portal will build as the repair order is going through the process. So at the check-in phase, I only have, X amount of information, but then as for example, the inspection gets done, I'll have more and I'll have more. So at the check-in process, as I'm doing my walk around and taking pictures, in the consumer portal, the customer can actually see the photos that you took. And in my case, I drew a circle around one of them to show a scratch. So I have that information. And then as the repair order goes through, and now I'm at the point where I've done the inspection, I found something additional that needs to go out to the customer. If you look at the middle phone here, you can see I have an inspection results. I still have that exterior damage, so it builds upon that. So again, if the customer wanted to see that, I also have the inspection results, what failed, what passed, and I have the ability to download that vehicle inspection report. So if you're familiar with the VIR, that's what that link at the bottom is.
All right, coming down here at the bottom side of the vehicle, going to be looking at the driver's side, that brake light.
Obviously, as you can see, the technician video came over. And then now if I want to go view the actual recommendation, the video is still there.
All right, coming down here at the bottom side of the vehicle, going to be looking at the driver.
I also, as a consumer, I could turn closed caption
brake light
on.
does look good, no cracking or tearing in that. Rotors are nice and full. That shock looks good as well, no leaking.
So as you can see, I could turn closed caption on if I needed to watch it in a noisy area. I can approve or decline, and then now I can sign and submit. And all of this information goes back to the advisor, so they now know what the customer approved, declined. They can see that signature as well. And so that just builds on the consumer portal. So now if you look at the one on the far right, we're basically saying everything's done, your car's ready. In my case, I have it telling the customer that your service is complete and then your car's headed to the car wash. And if you look at the bottom, I still have the 2 things from the previous, but now I also have a new item for approved services. So I can go in and take a look at this. I could see that damage that was there from the beginning. I can also see those inspection results. And again, if I wanted to download that vehicle inspection report, the customer has access to that. They still have access to that video. So that's going to build. And then finally, what they're going to see is the actual approved services. So what they approved, if they wanted to go back and look at that. So as you can see, this consumer portal continues to build. It allows you to provide that personalized experience to your customer and truly elevate the entire communication with the customer by making it as automated and customized as you want. So it's better for the customer, and it's also better and more efficient for your advisors. So one last thing I want to talk about is a service that we can provide, which is called the Warranty Revenue Assistance Program. And as you know, it can be very challenging and tedious to complete what's necessary to actually request a warranty increase from your OEM. And so the CDK Warranty Revenue Assistance Program features really a game-changing tool that it can look at the best range of repair orders to help you get the best results from that request for the increase. And so as you can see from the slide, the results that really impact the bottom line, the average OEM approved reimbursement over the last quarter was $350,000. And so what this program does, we have a tool to help you find the right repair orders. We can help you with the submission. We don't actually do the submission for you, but we can help you with that. We can also help you when that rate increase comes in to change your labor rate, as well as your parts increase. So with that, we're going to go ahead now and open up for questions. So let me stop sharing so that I can actually read all the questions that you've typed in. So if you haven't typed any, please, just continue to type in your questions. So the first one is, Don, this one is for you. So can more than one technician track time on the lines with this new tracking, with the new punch times?
Oh, great question. Thank you, Kim. So the answer is yes. You can run multiple technicians on one line. You can also run time on those individual technicians on the line. And the great thing about this new feature is you're also able to, each technician can also audit their individual time on that line. So to answer your question, yes.
Thanks, Don. Okay. Let me see. So Jeanie, this one is for you. It's about Ava, of course. So does Ava have, let me see, I'm trying to read this here. Does Ava have the ability to do chat along with text, and is it customized to the customer, or is it a diagnostic tree?
It is customized to the customer. So it follows if you have COSA, it follows the same format as the online scheduler for COSA. So there are prompts that will identify the customer by your phone and your associated vehicles by your phone number. It'll ask you what service is requested, and it will offer you available times. It will it will offer your various transportation options, and it will confirm your appointment. So it will just take you through those quick steps. It's not necessarily real-time chat, but they are prompts that follow the same online scheduler that's already been established for your dealership.
Okay, great. Here's another one for you, Jeanie.
Okay.
Does
All right.
Ava have any specific system requirements?
The only requirement is Drive DMS. If you have Drive, you can get Ava. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, Don, here's another one for you. This is a question about booking. So are you saying that what you showed eliminates the need to go back into the post-final charges or PFC function?
Well, yeah, thank you for the question. And essentially, yes. What we're doing is we're pulling a lot of those features out of what we know as Drive today, like PFC, and pulling them into this new platform. So a couple of things are going to happen. One, the adoption rate much quicker. You don't have to remember all those all those function codes to book out a line. So effectively, the user will just go in and be able to not only book the lines out, but we also have a new cashiering function that allows them to not only book the ticket, but ultimately cashier all from that same platform.
Awesome. Okay, this next question is actually for me. And so it's about it's about the AI feature. So it was asking basically what other AI features are included in the communication piece. So there's a bunch. I routed off a few. So the noise cancellation, there's the closed caption, there's the smart text reply, which I mentioned it, but I didn't really show anything but basically what that does is that there's a couple of things that it does. So as I'm texting back with the customer, let's say as an advisor, I make it a pretty casual or informal, it can actually offer up professional texting. So it can give me an option of what to text to the customer. But the smart text reply is actually, it will automatically, based on when the customer texts you, so the last text is from the customer, it will give 3 options to automatically reply back. So, let's say it's a yes or no question, it will give a very professional yes answer, a very professional no answer, and kind of an in the middle answer. So it gives that. So again, the whole idea here is to make the interaction with the customer better, but also to help make it more efficient for that technician as well. And Jeanie, I'm sure I've probably forgotten
Yeah,
something, so
no,
you probably
there's
want to
2
chime
more.
in.
Yeah, there's also text translation. So if someone texts you in Spanish, that
Oh,
the AOA will understand that a Spanish speaking person, so the advisor can respond back in English, run it through a translation filter, and respond back to the customer in their preferred language. And then the last one is a sentiment analysis, or a sentiment alert, rather. So what the sentiment is, it will look at the context of the conversation, and it will identify if it's a negative interaction. It will immediately alert the advisor or a manager to that, so that they can then intervene at that moment, and not days later, when after they've left the dealership and they get their survey. They can intervene at that time and take any necessary actions before it escalates into a bigger issue. So that is the other AI. That's another AI feature.
thanks, Jeanie. I could
Yeah.
tell you were wanting to chime in there, and I knew I was forgetting something
That's
major,
okay.
so thank you. All right, well,
Um,
that's the
yeah.
last question. So let me go ahead and share my slide one more time. And I just want to share that, there's another webinar just like this for the CDK Vehicle Inventory Suite. So it's on Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern. So scan that barcode that's on the screen, and it will allow you to, it will take you right to the registration page. And so with that, I just want to thank you for attending our webinar, and I hope it was valuable for you, and have a great day.